Hey, gang. Fighting words. Fighting words. Nebraska has the best fans in the entire Big Ten.
You are Locked On Huskers, your daily podcast on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, gang. DP here, Locked On Huskers. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day, Huskers. Every day. Your Huskers. Every day. Thank you. Subscribers, you folks who have clicked the button to get the content. You are appreciated. You everyday folks who check out these podcasts, contribute. Thank you for your time. Mark Einenwaller, if you would please, let them know about Birddogs.
Thank you, DP. This episode of Locked On Huskers is brought to you by Birddogs. Birddogs, the shorts that are designed to make you look good. Birddogs uses stretch khaki shorts. They're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and the leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. They do the exact same thing as those more expensive brands, but they fit way better because they, unlike regular shorts, don't use a stiff, restricting cotton. They fix that issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Birddogs uses anti-stink, sweat-wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. And for listeners of this podcast, go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedoncollege for a free Yeti-style tumbler. Go see for yourself. Birddogs.com/lockedoncollege. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. DP, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. The weather's nice in Lincoln. It'd be a great day for me to slide on my bird dog shorts. I think I can do that. I think I can do that for you. I wanted to spend time in this episode. The fine folks at Locked On Sports and the Locked On Sports Network, specifically folks from the Locked On Big Ten, have accumulated some numbers and through some surveys, and what they've come up with is some rankings within the Big Ten Conference. Current Big Ten Conference, they did not include USC or UCLA, which would be a whole nother show. Would be a whole nother show. It's just, where would you put USC and UCLA in the Big Ten rankings? No less than fourth in any sport. I'm not sure. USC is not going to be in the top, outside the top five in any sport. But we'll talk about that in a future episode of Locked On Huskers. But a big part of this was just breaking it down and going through them. So I wanted to start, because it's, as the list plays out, it asked all the hosts of the Locked On Big Ten shows, and then Locked On Big Ten, the program itself, rank all Big Ten football programs for 2023, so for this upcoming season. And being that this is a Locked On Husker show, I'll ask you, in your head, type in the comments where you think other media, other Locked On media, where you think they put Nebraska 2023 football amongst the Big Ten. What if I told you that Michigan was number one? We're not really surprised. Ohio State, the Buckeyes, again, they've been 1 and 2, and that's not really a surprise. They both recruited like gangbusters. They both returned their coaching staffs. Programs firmly in place, culture defined. 1 and 2, whatever way you want to play it, they'll meet last game of the Big Ten season and figure out who's going to be number one. Penn State, usually 2 bad plays away from being in the 1 or 2 discussion. Penn State, James Franklin, again, returning coaching staff, returning talent up and down the roster. So number 3 doesn't really surprise us. Number 4, Wisconsin. Now, that is a bit of a puzzlement to me, as is number 5, Iowa. Traditionally, and these are the programs, this is not team, this is the program. So remember that long culture. team is this year, program is long culture, long form. And to say that the top 5 programs currently, again, no USC, no UCLA, and I think UCLA jumps into that. I'm not sure UCLA does. I think UCLA as a program falls, would you say they fall below Iowa? Again, food for another podcast. But those are the top 5. What stuns me? Are you ready for this, Husker fans? Get your typing fingers ready, because this is going to blow your mind. The number 6, again, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin. We could circle that and write that in every year and not feel bad, like too far out of the realm of this thing. And this is football. Illinois was voted 6th. What? What is happening? What is happening? One year where you're at that level, I'm slightly stunned. Maryland at 7. Is Nebraska at 8? No. Minnesota's at 8. We'll go backwards from the bottom up. Rutgers at 14. Do you really want to do that to Rutgers? Is that what you want to say to Rutgers? Northwestern at 13. Northwestern. Earned, not given, earned. Indiana was ranked 12th. Purdue was ranked 11th. Michigan State was ranked number 10. Nebraska at 9. Minnesota at 8. Wow. Now, Husker fans, let me know. Is 9 about where you would have them? And if you, based on that, just on that, means Nebraska loses game 1 because they're not favored. They're a higher-ranked team, higher-ranked program. You think it's a little bit better. But Michigan State, Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern are 4 teams that are ranked, programs that are ranked beneath Nebraska. So if you beat those 4 teams plus the 2 non-cons, that's 6 wins for you. Hey, we party on O Street. Just saying that. Now, let's dance a little bit, shall we? The coaches. And again, this is just a polling and it's just the opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But in your head, where do you have Matt Rule? Out of the 14, do you have him top half, bottom half? Do you have him in the middle 3? Where do you have him? Right? And it's not really a reach for Jim Harbaugh to be ranked number 1. But that's not a surprise, right? Ryan Day. And again, if we're going to talk football, in most things Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, either coaches, players, program will be 1 and 2 in either way, fashion, shape. Brett Bielema, who was ranked at 3rd, and I'm not upset because of his success in the Big Ten Conference. James Franklin at Penn State, 4th. And then we circle number 5. Luke Fickell. Has he earned that? Big in the top dog in the Big Ten currently? Luke Fickell. What's he done in the Big Ten? Circle that. That's a really good place for us to put a pen. We'll throw it a break. When we come back, we'll go through the other portion of this list, the coaching list. And then we'll get into the projected quarterbacks around the Big Ten. It's another fun list to go up and down. All of that when we come back to Locked On Huskers. Welcome back. I'm having too much fun just thinking about. Maybe we should work that out and have all of the Locked On Big Ten folks on the same podcast. But that's what the Locked On Big Ten folks do. So, hey, I'll stay in my lane and do my thing. But I would love to have this group together just to go through the thinking. Harbaugh won. Day 2, Bielema, Franklin, Fickle. At 6, the old head, the sage, Kirk Ferentz. And remember, Nebraska closed its season with an interim coach who beat Kirk Ferentz in Iowa in their own building. So before you get all warm and fuzzy about Iowa, no, not so much. The collective has decided that Matt Rule is the 7th best coach in the Big Ten Conference. 7. Only behind Ferentz, Fickle, Franklin, Bielema, Day, Harbaugh. What say you? Feel free to put your thoughts in the comments. I'm open to those. They have him ahead of his opening day opponent, PJ Fleck. Are you ready to die on that hill? Husker fans, tell me. Better coach. Will he be on the sideline with the Huskers or with the Gophers? At 9 is a guy who has no fear of Nebraska. As a matter of fact, he beat Nebraska again last year in Pat Fitzgerald. Also not having fear at 10 is Mel Tucker. 11, Mike Loxley from Maryland. Greg Schiano, 12. Dr. Tom Allen, 13. Ryan Walters, 14. New coach, tough situation, understood. But some of that other ranking, again, it'll play out. It's opinion. But hey, now, a big part of Big Ten football is that leadership position, the leadership of all leadership positions in the Big Ten Conference. And nothing makes fans waver, media waver, like a new quarterback in the Big Ten Conference. Veteran quarterbacks give fans some comfort, knowing what it is that they bring to the table and what can be expected. And if I asked you, without listing them, to name the best quarterback in the Big Ten Conference, who comes to mind? Who is it? Some would go to College Park and say that if I could pick any starting quarterback in the Big Ten Conference to run my team, to lead my team, Talia Tagovailoa wouldn't be a bad choice. But the media folks said, no, maybe not so much. If you're Iowa and you chose to go to the number 1 program in the Big Ten and get quarterback 1B, well, they walk into the season with Cade McNamara projected as their starting quarterback. This poll has him ranked behind Tagovailoa at 5. Tagovailoa at 3. I mean, at 5. Tagovailoa is at 3. Kyle McCord from Ohio State. What? I have a feeling that ends up on a bulletin board somewhere in the locker room of Ohio State University, that their quarterback was selected 4th best in the Big Ten. At 2, Drew Allard? Drew Allard from Penn State. Now, I happen to know why the hype machine exists, but number 2, ahead of Tagovailoa? Oh, my. If I was wearing pearls, I would clutch them. I was just Tanner Mordecai from Wisconsin at 6. Hold on. Let me just. Okay. I had to swallow. I needed some water to help me swallow that one. And then Hudson Card from Purdue at 7. What is happening? What is happening in the quarterback position in the Big Ten Conference? Luke Altmaier from Illinois, 8. That's the top half of quarterbacks, all quarterbacks in the Big Ten Conference. McCarthy, Aller, Tagovailoa, McCord, McNamara, Mordecai, Card, Altmaier. Are we really? Wait a minute. Something's missing. Something's missing. Where is Jeff Sims from Nebraska? Where? Well, Jeff Sims is ranked 9th. He's just ahead. Oh, man. He's ahead of Noah Kim from Michigan State, Taven Jackson from Indiana, Ben Bryant from Northwestern, and Gavin Winsett or Evan Summer. They don't even know who to project from Rutgers. Oof. Oof. And I will tell you openly, I will be extremely surprised if at the end of the year Noah Kim is still in the bottom 4 for Michigan State. That's just me. You ready to party a little bit? Okay. So the media folks got together and want to talk about fan bases. The best fan bases in the Big Ten. Let me just go ahead and throw confetti. Strike up the band and get yourself a Go Big Red going. Because even amongst the Big Ten, media, etc., Nebraska sits on top of the list as the best fan base in all of Big Ten. We're not surprised. We're just glad you finally decided to join us at the party. And by the way, the rest of you in the Big Ten, you're correct. You're right. Nebraska does have the number 1 fan base in all of the Big Ten. We're not surprised. Hey, this is our surprise face. Look, celebrate whatever victories you can celebrate. They didn't like those other numbers. We didn't like those other rankings. But here, hey, we can celebrate. Ohio State at 2, Iowa at 3. Yeah. Wisconsin, Penn State, again, I think the whiteout. I would have expected Penn State football at 2, but not basketball or other sports. But I'm going to let them just figure that out. Michigan at 6. Well, they only draw the most people, right? Or second most people. Huh? Michigan, and talk about a drop from Penn State, Michigan to Michigan State, Illinois, Northwestern. That's jumping off the cliff straight into the valley. And the bottom 3, Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana. Oh, wow. Yeah, those aren't good. We'll put a pin there. We'll talk offense and defense because it deserves mentioning. The best offenses for 2023 and the best defenses. We'll talk about those when we come back. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just bringing you the news. I don't make the news. I just report it. That's how this works. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day. We'll close with this. So imagine that you get all the defenses in the Big Ten and you want to rank them. Never once in my head did I have the team that finished number 1 in the ranking number 1. It just wasn't going to happen. It just didn't. We'll go at the bottom. Let's get the bad news out of the way. Okay, Indiana at 14, Rutgers at 13, Nebraska. Tony White has his hands full, according to the Big Ten media. And the black shirts, oh my goodness gracious. You're going to have to fight for those. You're going to have to fight for the reputation. But the rest of the Big Ten Conference thinks Nebraska will be 12th best defense. Slightly behind Purdue, Northwestern, Minnesota, Michigan State, Illinois. Now, top 5. We kind of know the lane because those top 5 have been consistent in most of these categories, except for these folks chose Iowa as the best. Listen, No, not gonna accept that. Playing big in the biggest games, playing well against the best competition, the best offenses, that stuff matters. And you did. Ugh. Okay, Michigan number 2, Ohio State 3rd, Penn State, Wisconsin. Not sure I'm buying it, but hey, as I said before all of this, I continually say, it's my opinion. I can't be wrong in my opinion, but there's no chance this media folks got it right. We all gave our opinions. We apparently didn't get it right. And then on the other side of the ball, which explains the quarterback thing a little bit to me, that Michigan was ranked 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Tango Vailoa, and this is why I thought he would be higher ranked as a quarterback, because most people can't name 3 other offensive players at Maryland other than the quarterback. And Wisconsin has it's a new deal. But what I will say to this is that I expected to see what I was going to see, that Indiana, again, ranked at the bottom in offense and defense. They're both 14th in both. Rutgers was 13th in both. Nebraska was 12th in defense, but Northwestern was 12th in offense. Maryland was 11th. Michigan State is 11th. Purdue at 10. Purdue at 9 in offense. But somehow, Nebraska snuck in at number 6 for offenses. But Jeff Sims is ranked 9th. You know that emoji you see? How'd that work out? Anyway, those are the numbers. You can put your comments down in the comment section, whether you agree with them or not. At some point, I'll disclose where I voted amongst these things and what I think this should be. But that's it for this episode of Locked On Huskers. Thank you for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day. And we close with the 3 words we love so much. For the number 1 fan base in all the Big Ten, we say, go Big Red.